guided reading.
Guided reading, sure. Brianna and the Geller in the green. They've gotten 98% for like 5 days in a row. Except Miguel, she's got 99%.
So Brianna's nailing her endings.
Yeah,
then.
she's nailing her endings.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's doing great. And Khalil's still in the red, because he's been getting still consistently like 96. But yesterday he got 98%. So hopefully...
And the day before, I think. I think I saw on his tracker yesterday in guided reading 98, 98.
Yesterday was Monday.
Yesterday and then...
Oh, and Thursday?
Okay.
Is that right? But it's still not enough
Yeah.
to be green.
Yep.
Or even yellow, really.
Yep.
So hopefully by the end of this week he'll be yellow, approaching green. So Deshawn and Cedric and Brianna are in the green for their comprehension goals. Miguel is like a high yellow. She's been doing well with foreshadowing and stuff, but she's still struggling with predicting.
Okay.
Which is part of her like author's craft goal. So I know what I need to do for her though. But Khalil is struggling.
Wait, how does
Yeah.
author's craft go with prediction?
Because what I'm having her do is notice the foreshadowing and
Got
then
it.
predict what's going to happen next based
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
It's like higher level.
Yep.
But she's not quite there yet. So, but she's doing well with the foreshadowing, just that next step of like, the author's doing this to show you something big's going to happen next. And what is that next big thing? What do you think that would be?
Aligning to like Canyon Mystery, how does the author
That was
help you know something's going to happen at the cave or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, that's yellow, but it's on the rise. Khalil is still red for author's craft. Like sometimes he'll hit his specific strategic action, or his focus is to notice organizational structures that the author uses.
Yep.
And for the first week, we pretty much consistently did that, and he did well. He scored like solid 2s, some 3s for that. But then I started
With fiction and nonfiction?
with fiction and nonfiction, yeah. But then I started asking him some other author craft questions, like about foreshadowing and why did the author include this list here, or there's just other sorts of things, and he's not getting them. I think that the last 4 lessons have been a little too all over the place author's craft questions. Like one day it's foreshadowing, the other day it's like italicized words the other day. So I think I just need to stick to like one solid weakness until he's ready to move on to the next author's craft type question.
Okay. Does he have basic genre knowledge? Like, does he get, what to predict based on identifying genre?
No, and I did notice that in the introductions, he often gets the genre questions incorrect.
Okay.
So maybe I should try that.
Yeah. Specifically, what would you do?
I guess it would start with a basic identified level, right? Like, what is the genre? Not just fiction, nonfiction, but the type of fiction and nonfiction. And then teach him some things that authors do in that specific type of fiction.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So it's like, how does it set our purpose for reading? And I would, because your introduction is whole group, I'd be looking to cold call him on a lot of those, like, okay, now that we know the genre is informational nonfiction, how does that help set our purpose for reading? Well, we expect to read facts about da-da-da-da-da and learn new information about blah, blah, blah. The author will probably organize this into headings with, or subheadings with similar information.
That's good. So do you imagine that, like, would this be a separate intro of the book for him?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because this is...
I wasn't imagining it that. I was imagining a whole group and then you cold call him on that, like on the question you really want to push his thinking on. Because you're doing genre mostly in the intro of everyone, right?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. But maybe where it's a separate is like on day 2 of the same book, you cycle back to him and maybe you do like a mini separate introduction with him right away of like, Khalil,
Like,
what genre did we say this book was yesterday?
See,
Okay, and then how did, so day 2 becomes the reinforcement.
That's good. So it would be something like, what's the genre? This is the genre. How does that set our purpose for reading? Well, in this genre, we can expect to see da 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 from the author.
Yep.
Like making sure that he's thinking like an author.
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. That sounds great. That should help.
I don't know that he needs to say we can expect to see from the author.
No. Well, we can expect to read.
Yes, exactly.
Because in this genre, authors do.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Great. He's so he thinks like like everything's like on a people level. Like, well, this guy shouldn't have done this, or Okay.
He's constantly making connections to self-kid
something.
and not grounding it in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears and let's quickly talk about writing kids. In terms of your action steps, were you able to give Post-its to the kids, your cusp kids? Do they have Post-it notes? That was one of the action steps.
They don't have Post-it notes,
Okay.
but we told them what their goals were, and then, well, we didn't follow up with one thing. We did tell them what their goals were, but one thing that we were going to have them do this week was check off if they did achieve their goal. And a lot of what it is like around pacing and analysis.
Okay.
So, yeah. But they know what they are. Do you want a Post-it?
I think or an index, like what we've done in 6th grade is with an index card and put it inside the front of the binder. That way also it travels with them from class to class, so you can start, like Rebecca's really into, I think, supporting your guys' work in lit and like making those cross connections. And I think if she knew that these kids have, like if their FCA was out on their binder, like with the index card, that she could then help really drill that too, and it becomes more transparent when they go from class to class.
Yeah, you're right. Because the kids will probably. Yeah, it doesn't make as much sense to just tell them and.
Okay. Yeah.
For lit and writing?
They have the same FCA.
No. Well, for pacing they do.
I think you guys are drilling pacing. I don't think they need the reminder of pacing necessarily in their binder. I think like you guys are really hitting that hard.
Well, we're not anymore though.
Oh.
We're like not reminding them anymore because
Okay.
they need to start doing it on their own.
Okay.
You think we should?
No, I mean, I guess you could do pacing. I guess you could, if you think the kid's like biggest weakness is pacing, then keep their FCA as pacing. Otherwise, I'd align it to a PBA.
Yeah.
And maybe kids with pacing, you can give like here's your habit focus, and then here's your like PBA focus correction area.
Habit focus, right? Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we didn't go about that very well then. Sorry.
And then when you see kids working on it at school, because you can like, I don't know, you can just do like checks on the back of the index card.
Yeah.
You can do
I did
tally
do that
marks
last
or
year.
stickers or something. You did with guided reading.
They
They all had index cards, and you would like give them a check on the back of the index card
Right.
if they
Got
got a
a 3
3 or
or something.
98%, and it was an incentive. Yeah. I used to do guided reading like that too.
Yeah. Okay.
They get into it.
They do get into it. It's easy to keep track of.
Okay, so you brought exit tickets from Cusp Kids.
Yeah.
Great.
So, this is the biggest issue in their short responses. So they're getting the formula, the fact that shows that because.
Yep.
But it's really the because
Yep.
part that is so hard for like all of them. It's sort of critical, but like it doesn't necessarily link back to the assertion, or it's just like a wild, like not on. I don't know if it was on this one. It was like Deb wrote one about everyone knows that the women should get the right to vote because everyone knows the judicial system is supposed to guarantee the laws. Like, it was just some random thing, which was kind of critical, but they're not grounding it back in, like, what their assertion is about and what their evidence is about. And I'm actually a little bit stumped on how to...
Interesting.
Like, they'll say something that's really smart and creative,
yeah.
But it
That's
won't...
the opposite problem that I would expect. I would expect they don't say anything new in the because. It's just like they repeat again the assertion or they repeat.
That was the first phase.
Okay.
The first phase, it's like you just are repeating
Yeah.
your assertion or rewording your evidence again.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this, like, far out thing. Except she didn't do it very well. Like, she doesn't know what's going on. So I'm seeing that they're either...
Yeah, so she doesn't have any critical thinking in this one, right?
Not in that one, but she has done
In general.
Yeah.
The fact that she shows her perspective shows that she's trying to fix the books. How does she communicate her perspective on what her children did to Miss Crocker? What's the what do you want them to say?
For the analysis?
Yeah. Well, what was the exemplar piece of evidence?
For this one, it was Mama communicated her... the evidence?
Yeah.
The evidence was when Mama told her that she had... that she wanted to get new books for her kids.
Okay. And so then what would be the exemplar analysis?
The fact that Mama told Miss Crocker that she wanted to get new books for her kids, or she didn't think it was fair that her kids had old books, shows that she was angry about it because when people, and I gave them that one too, because when people stand up for their kids to another adult, it shows that they are like unhappy with. That's like really high, isn't it? I know. Well, I try to get
exemplar.
That's the exemplar. I mean, I try to
exemplar.
teach them, like, talk about human nature. Like, when people do this, they blank. And I put that on the anchor chart.
You're
But maybe
essentially
that's-
having them, like, draw out a theme. A little bit.
Well, it's not really like a life lesson. It's just like a common belief. Well, yeah, I guess that is a...
But I don't know that that's always going to be transferable. Like, that's not what they're always doing. But you want them always in the because, connecting to something, like, bigger,
Yeah.
not grounded in the story.
Or explaining why they chose... One of the things that I did, it was... The key questions was, why did you choose this evidence? Right?
Yep.
And I chose this evidence because it shows
Yep.
that she was clearly upset with the fact that her kids weren't getting the books. But that wasn't necessarily showing, like, deep engagement with the text. It just shows literal comprehension.
Right.
Which is why I tried
Right.
to say, like, talk about what people do when they're in this situation. Make a connection to this situation in the book with something that might happen in real life.
Right.
But then I got some far out stuff when I did that, so I don't really know where the medium is. It's like either literally restate, you know...
Oh, this is a different prompt, right? How does Mildred use figure?
Yeah, this is just our
Okay,
analysis
got it.
that I've been
Because
looking
looking here, it's like, it's an issue also of evidence.
Okay.
For example, Mama did not speak.
Well, this also shows that she's mad. Like, in the text, Miss Crocker is, like, telling her...
But I think it's going to be hard to create a strong critical thinking
From this evidence.
from this Mama did not speak.
Right, because it could go either way. It could be like she's just listening.
Right.
So best evidence.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's come back. Like, let's keep thinking about it. You guys are doing a reteach on today, on analysis. Like, let's revisit it next week and see what kids do.
Okay.
Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you for bringing these.
Thank you. But overall, they're doing better in the small group. Like definitely seeing improvement.
Right.
I'd rather make them have them make some kind of like deep life connection than like restate the evidence. I just think that shows that they're engaging more. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears and update me on next steps from last week.